reaction. Let's see how long this video is. 12 minutes. If you guys aren't familiar, Level 1 Techs is a typical tech YouTube channel, but what he's talking about today, which is really interesting to me, is KVM. Matt from Viperpool brought this to my attention. I figured I could watch it with you guys. We would, you guys can get my opinion. Background on me, I'm a systems engineer, so I work in virtualization. So this stuff interests me as a whole, and maybe I can provide some additional insight. If not, we'll learn.
I'm very excited to report some new interesting progress on the Looking Glass project. What's the Looking Glass project? I'm doing almost 200 FPS in Shadow of the Tomb Raider at almost 200 FPS, well 120 FPS in our updates on a virtual machine that only has 8 cores. This is a Windows virtual machine that is running underneath Arch Linux. This is a fresh install of Arch Linux. I'll show you how I did it. You can basically run any game that you want under Windows. You can even run games under Windows that complain about virtualization, games like Fortnite. It is possible to evade Fortnite's virtualization.
Okay, so a little bit of what I've been doing lately is I've been utilizing SteamOS through a distribution called Bazzite.gg, which is a Fedora-based Linux distribution that will essentially allow me to utilize any PC hardware like a console, right? I have like a remote that I turn my PC on with. I can do it from bed. And then I turn on my controller and I play basically SteamOS on my TV. Proton, for those of you not aware, essentially Windows uses DirectX, and then you have OpenGL and you have Vulkan, which is the latest version of OpenGL, which are the lower level APIs that allow you to play games on Linux, versus DirectX, which requires Microsoft. Now, what's interesting about this in particular is right now, Proton's taking care of a majority of compatibility between DirectX and Vulkan, right? Proton comes in, it translates everything over from DirectX into Vulkan, and then it plays. Performance has been fantastic. There's a problem, though. There are some games that essentially have anti-cheat that are making it incapable of running through Proton or on Linux hardware. 2 games of note, and one is Fortnite, which I play a lot of with my kiddos, and then the other one would be like Valorant, and that is because the anti-cheat goes all the way down to like ring 0 on the CPU. It requires Windows to be installed, and before now, it was impossible to run through virtualization. So you would essentially have to boot or dual boot, which means booting 2 different operating systems on the same PC, which obviously takes up more storage. It's more inconvenient. You have to reboot your computer every time you want to play Fortnite, etc. This apparently might be or end up being a solution to that, to where on this gaming PC over here, I no longer have to dual boot. Oh, and it's this one right here. I'll no longer have to dual boot this, but I can just run Linux full time, have a virtualization through Looking Glass that will allow me to play Fortnite with the kiddos, but then still not have to really run Windows ever again, because the ultimate goal for any nerd is to never use Windows, right? That's my goal.
Detection, but that is a huge pain in the butt, and I don't want to tell you exactly how to do that, because then Epic Games will make it harder to detect when you're running in virtualization. There's a game being played right now. Some companies don't want you to play a game in a virtual machine because you'll cheat, but really that's just a lack of skill in terms of the programmer securing it as it's running in a virtual machine, because you can cheat when it's not running.
Do you hear them calling them out? They don't like it because they might cheat, but it's really just a lack of skill of the developers. Damn, Wendell. Fucking cooked them, dude.
In a virtual machine, because guess what? Windows
those dumb developers.
Runs in hypervisor mode anyway. Looking Glass. Looking Glass is a fantastic piece of software that brings sort of the promised land of being able to run a Windows virtual machine under Linux with full GPU acceleration. You can pass through a GPU. But there's an incredible update coming for Looking Glass that is to the Indirect Display Driver, the IDD. If you're not familiar with Passthrough and VFIO and that whole thing that I've been doing for like 10 years, Basically, you have a GPU for your host system. It can be an iGPU or whatever. Then you have a second GPU, and you pass that through to a virtual machine. And then Windows can run with the real piece of hardware. You can also do that with storage. So you can have a Windows virtual machine that has real storage, real NVMe, and a real display.
So you mean like you could pass through an NVMe? That would be pretty cool, I guess, huh?
And that's what we've done here on our Threadripper machine.
God damn.
This machine is built around the Fractal North case. It's got a nice wood grain. We did a video on that. And this is our ASRock TRX50 motherboard. Yeah, I'm just using TRX50.
Look at those coolers on the, what do you call those? VRM? No, those aren't VRMs. I don't know why I'm... Anyways.
32-core Threadripper
on the
CPU.
chipset.
I've also got a 25 gig Mellanox network card.
Exactly.
NVIDIA bought Mellanox, but Mellanox Connect X5.
That motherboard's sick, though. 25
gigabit. There's a lot of PCIe lanes here. This setup works fantastically well for all things Linux and Threadripper and everything else. And this Windows virtual machine is running exceedingly well as a virtual machine on our Threadripper platform. I even am running virtual storage. I don't even have a second NVMe set up for our Windows system. Our virtual machine with 8 cores passing through a 9070 non-XT, 179 FPS. You lose a little bit of overhead because it is running as a virtual machine, but keep in mind this is a 32-core Threadripper. It's not quite as fast per core as in 4 cores. It's still a phenomenal result if you just want to play some games. Boom, look at that. I close Looking Glass and I'm back to an Arch desktop. I launch Looking Glass and there we go. Now notice our Looking Glass window is smaller now, but it actually resized the Windows desktop. Yep, that's a feature of Looking Glass. When you resize Looking Glass, the Looking Glass client on Linux, if it's running on the Windows VM, it will resize to be whatever the number of available pixels that you have are. And yes, you can go full screen, so I can do that. And then this is running natively. We can see that we're getting our native resolution, but if you don't want to run full screen, that's okay. I can hit scroll lock F and it'll totally do that. Now, this indirect display driver is actually something very, very special because being able to play games and run this kind of stuff and that sort of thing, it's old hat for VFIO. If you're just learning about VFIO, this is a tremendous rabbit hole that you're about to go down. But the indirect display driver also has a trick up its sleeve, and that is it unlocks the ability to use more than one core for graphics acceleration. So if you don't pass through a GPU and you just want to be able to run a CPU-based GPU, you can do that. And it is dramatically faster than Spice and the VNC options that you have. So if you use a Vert Manager to create a virtual machine and you install the Looking Glass indirect display device, even though you don't have a GPU mapped, a second GPU mapped, if you throw a bunch of cores at that virtual machine, it will be able to run software emulation across many cores and you will get pretty significant acceleration. I did a video a couple of months ago on the difference between GPU accelerated Bing maps and non-GPU accelerated Bing maps with the Intel Flex GPU, and you can see how terrible and janky it is when you don't have a GPU driver. With the indirect display driver, you can get this kind of draggable performance. Now, to be sure, it's using a lot of your CPU horsepower, whereas with the default VGA, like no hardware acceleration driver, it's just going to use one core. You're relegated to one core, which is why it is a stuttery, terrible mess. And it doesn't seem to be very well optimized. This driver is a little bit more optimized, and you're not getting something for nothing, but this is a much more usable experience. This is a dramatically more usable experience. So for Home Lab, for Proxmox, for anything, even if you're not physically passing through a piece of hardware, you should check out that Looking Glass indirect display device driver, which is coming soon. It's not quite out yet. Check on the forum or the Looking Glass IO website and see how that goes. The other part of this setup that I really have to comment on is that this was a dream. This was super easy to set up. I was shocked how easy it was to set up with Arch. Linux firmware-git is something that you're going to have to get with Yay or Peru or whatever. There are also community members that have packaged Looking Glass for Arch. Those are not officially supported because Looking Glass is not quite to a 1.0 yet, but they're basically bleeding edge. And so you can install the Git version of Looking Glass. You can get the Git version of the indirect display device driver. You can get all the stuff that you need to be able to run this on the very latest kernel. I'm running this on a 9070. I can run the 9070 on the host. I can run the 9070 as a virtual
I still
machine.
want a 9070.
The reset bug does still
I don't have one yet. I want it for my bedroom PC.
exist. For those of you that are new to the VFIO game, Code 43 and the reset bug, they're not necessarily the same thing. Sometimes you can't get the GPU to initialize whatsoever. Things are a little different as far as reset goes on the 9070. There is hope on the horizon for being able to reset, but what that means is that once the GPU gets into a certain state, you literally have to turn your machine off and back on in order to be able to use the GPU in a virtual machine. If everything shuts down correctly, and if the sun and the moon are aligned, and if you've got the right combination.
This sounds like it's probably going to be more pain than it's worth still.
Hardware,
until you get like a 1.0.
It will be a little bit more reliable than other combinations of hardware. It's really, I wish it were a better situation in terms of GPU reset and VFIO. It's a little bit of a bleeding edge that you get into the whole IOMMU thing and resize bar, and you have to take extra steps in order to configure your virtualization manager. There's lots of threads about all of that on the forum, but don't lose sight of the innovation and the breakthroughs here, because the breakthrough is that Looking Glass is very, very near to a 1.0 release, in my opinion, with the stability and the features that it has. And not to mention that even if you're not going to use hardware pass-through, the indirect display driver is a thing that will make your life better in cool. Other scenarios. Enterprise virtual desktop users might not be too enthused about an indirect display driver that unlocks better performance because...
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously for enterprise, we're just going to stick with VDI and VMware, right? Like, at the end of the day, you're not going to do stuff like this.
It means that their machines will have to have more CPU cores, and more CPU cores doing video acceleration.
But I mean, if you were running like, okay, so if you were running like VDI with only CPUs, and you wanted to improve the performance cheap as a sysadmin, maybe in like a smaller corporate setting, I mean, you might get a pretty good kudo from the office. I don't know.
Is still.
I mean, most of the time, like if you're like at enterprise, like all those VDI hosts are going to have, NVIDIA drivers and like the NVIDIA GPUs and all the hosts, and then it split. You virtualize and you split the amount of video memory per virtual machine, and then boom, done,
still not as good as hardware doing video acceleration and decompression and things like that. That's really what makes the
but then again, you'd also have to have the CPU power to even do that. So
virtual desktop experience where you remote into a virtual machine, either from the same machine or from another machine on the network. That's what makes the experience not great. That's when you notice that, yeah, it's not performing well, or there's a delay, or it feels like that you're underwater. Looking Glass on the same host here, with or without GPU acceleration, even running 3440 by 1440 without a second GPU, is an incredibly awesome experience. It's quite good. I was shocked at how good the experience was. I was shocked at how easy this was to set up on Arch. The Arch today in 2025 is an easier setup for VFIO and pass-through than Ubuntu 24.04, than Debian, than Proxmox even, than a whole bunch of other options. One other thing that I'll point out, there's a really great script that the community helped put together and is fairly well battle hardened in terms of being able to bind and unbind your GPU. So if you have multiple virtual machines that want to bind to a specific piece of hardware, you could do that.
What about like G-Sync?
A banking virtual machine that has GPU acceleration. You have a gaming virtual machine that has GPU acceleration.
I guess it would.
You have a second gaming virtual machine that has GPU acceleration. They can't all run at the same time, but they can all bind to the GPU, like if you're using Proxmox on your host or something like that. There's a script that works really well for this scenario. And as long as the virtual machine doesn't crash or do anything weird, then you can use that and bind and unbind.
But I mean, like if you just are going to use it like in my use case, right, where I'm just going to use it to play Fortnite, I would just cap the frame rate, do like a locked 144 or whatever, and just
Some people use it for
not
binding
worry
to their
about
host and unbinding. So like if I wanted to
as long as you're like capped and you lock that frame rate and achievable rate, which is like 120 to 144 in Fortnite, it's pretty easily attainable, and lock it there, you won't have to worry about the screen tear.
use the 9070 on my host, but then shut down, log out of X, go to a textual command prompt and unbind AMD GPU and then pass that through to a virtual machine, that would be an option. You can do that, assuming that the GPU hasn't crashed and is not in a weird undefined state. Oh, one other note, it might be discouraging when you first set it up, that first boot on Arch. When you
I love Wendell, man. I love Wendell's, like, he sounds like every time he makes a video, I feel like he always has like the disclaimers like a drug commercial.
install the AMD Adrenalin drivers, it's very likely you're going to get code 43. That's okay. Go through the setup, make sure you got all the steps, make sure that you get your XML configuration as it is supposed to be, but shut your machine down and turn it back on, because the initial driver installer from AMD seems to put the card into a state where it will code 43, at least on my particular setup. All I had to do was just turn the machine off and back on, and then that was enough to clear the GPU, and we're off to the races. This specific configuration is using a Sapphire 7600 for the host GPU and the 9070 from Asus for the pass-through GPU. So I'm getting great pass-through performance and great host performance. Both of those are using Linux firmware. You should also know that for the newest kernel in Arch, you really do need Linux firmware get, not Linux firmware. There's a bug that went away when I updated the firmware, where like you get one pixel column lines and some other unattractive stuff with the Linux firmware that comes from Pacman, or that comes from Arch's repository, which that's cleared up on the newest firmware from Linux firmware get. Oh, and before I forget, Looking Glass donations. If you got a few extra bucks, this is an incredible progress.
Cool.
Definitely send Jeff some pennies from heaven, because this is
awesome.
a labor of love. This is such a good experience. I think that I'm going to revamp my main Linux workstation, which is WRX90 instead of TRX50. TRX50 it's a very much better experience than it was on launch for enthusiasts, and now you can find some deals on TRX50 processors as well. And the RAM has come down, and global macroeconomic conditions notwithstanding, in terms of messing with pricing, seems like we're getting some good stuff there. But I wanted to give you an update on the Looking Glass project and this milestone that we are very near to releasing. Check out the level 1 forum thread about the new improvements in Looking Glass, because this is something special. Model, this is level 1. If you have any questions, or I missed anything, or you have your own Looking Glass adventures you'd like to share on the forum, like tank operators or whatever, I don't know, hit us up in the forum. All right, I'm signing out, and I'll see you in the level 1 forums.
Sweet. Go check out the video, guys, and give it a like. Thanks to Matt from Viper for sharing that. I am gonna give it a shot, I think, for Fortnite. But there you go. Thanks everybody for watching today. Be sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells down below, and I will see you next Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.